Now, this was the second fatal crash in the Bronx just this year, where the driver said he was having a seizure before impact. It is the focus of our cover story tonight.
Seconds before a Halloween disaster, this surveillance footage shows a black Dodge Charger bumping into a black car in front of it behind a bus on Morris Park Avenue.
We heard the screeching of the cars, and we heard the boom, 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 the cars hitting each other and the car flying.
52-year-old Howard Unger was driving the Dodge that flew across the avenue and hit 6 civilians, killing 3 of them, including 10-year-old Nyana Aquil and her grandfather.
Originally, they thought it might be road rage.
But it wasn't. Pix 11 has confirmed Unger later acknowledged he had been taking medicine to prevent seizures. And he wasn't the first Bronx driver to offer that explanation this year for a fatal accident.
A green taxi in the Bronx ran up on the sidewalk and he claimed to have had a seizure.
That crash on a snowy March night killed a 5-year-old girl standing with her mother at a bus stop on the Grand Concourse and a 25-year-old man. The driver, Emilio Garcia, has epilepsy, and police learned he had not taken his medicine that day. Prosecutors recently charged him with 2 counts of manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide.
There have been other crashes of people who had stopped taking their medication, knew that they were subject to seizures, or weren't taking medication at all.
In New York State, any driver seeking a license or renewing one is asked if they're being treated for epilepsy or convulsive disorder.
I had 3,000 seizures over 22 years.
Were you able to drive?
No.
Richie Shane, now 55, was diagnosed with epilepsy when he was 22. His doctor described what happens in the brain.
A seizure is a sudden electrical storm in the brain that changes behavior in some way.
At the age of 44, Shane decided to take a chance on a cure.
Brain surgery at NYU 11 years ago. I went from 20 seizures a month. I've not had any since. It was a safe place in the brain to get at. They actually had to remove my skull, portion of my skull, put wires in my brain.
Shane just finished his 3rd marathon to raise money for epilepsy research. We first met him 3 years after his surgery, when he had resumed driving and even boating on the Hudson. He proudly showed off his driver's license.
And nobody on their driver's license photo has a bigger smile than here.
In New York, if you're seizure-free for a year, you're able to drive.
Joshua Winters, the HR manager at Morris Park Dental, which captured the surveillance of the Dodge Charger seconds before the fatal crash, happens to have a brother with epilepsy and knows the symptoms of a standard seizure.
He sort of gets a spaced out look on his face, and he can't really answer questions, but he's still awake.
A source tells Pix 11 Unger remembers driving on Morris Park Avenue 3 blocks before the accident. The next thing he remembers is waking up in Jacoby Hospital. Howard Unger is home now with his mother. He's not eager to meet reporters as police continue their investigation.
Certainly a lot of parts to this. Overall, he has not been charged. Is that right at this point?
No, he hasn't been charged with anything yet, but the police told me they have a search warrant for his vehicle, and they're going to be looking at an event data recorder in the Dodge Charger.
Okay.
They want to look at the accelerator to see if the gas pedal was 100% down before the crash. That could indicate that his body had no control over movements.
There's still a lot more with regard to the investigation in this one.
Yes.
All right, Mary, thank you so much. Gee, let's go ahead and send it over to